So we're in our Goldilocks zone for technical folk when interviewing for jobs, that we either using too much AI or too little AI. And there's no consensus of what is just right. So what are big tech, or not necessarily just big tech, maybe more commonly known organizations doing for their coding rounds or their interview stages? And we can see that in 2026, Google started making some changes with having a Google AI assisted coding interview. So this is on the Northeastern website, but it was originally published on Exponent. And what is Exponent actually? It is a tool, everything you need to ace your tech interviews. Okay, so this has been extracted from a company with a tool for you to subscribe to. More costs. Okay. So according to internal documentation, Google is piloting a new interview format that allows software engineering candidates to use an approved AI assistant during the coding round. The pilot targets junior and mid-level roles on select US teams, with plans to expand if it goes well. Okay. This answers the who pays for the subscription/token question that I have, specifically for Google. So, if you're going through the Google interview process, you're going to be using Gemini. Fine. You may want to practice with Gemini first. You're paying for the use of Gemini. So, which version of Gemini, which model? I don't know. It might actually say in the internal doc. Does it say it in the internal? No, it takes us to Bloomberg. Okay. And yeah, of course there's a paywall, so we can't go through that. So the Google CEO disclosed in the April 22nd blog post that 75% of new code at Google is now AI generated and approved by engineers, up from 50% last autumn, for those of us who don't use fall as a terminology. So what's that, like 6 months? And it's up by another 25%. Okay, that's pretty good. But again, if you want to practice in order to get to the interview process, you're gonna have to pay for, and it's Google that you're targeting, you're gonna have to pay for Gemini. Unless they're giving out tokens and credits. That would be nice, right? If you're in the job market, that is. It would be nice, maybe they do this already, I don't know. It would be nice if like some frontier labs would be like, hey, if you can prove that you're unemployed somehow, you can access these amount of tokens per whatever cadence to help you through the job process, the job search process. That'd be nice. Idealistic, but it would be nice. So we're actually introducing 3 major changes to the software engineering interview loop in 2026. The code comprehension round, where candidates will analyze an existing code base during a new code comprehension round. Host a small code base for juniors if it unleash into a massive code base. Ooh, could be intimidating. Well, I'm sure they know what they're doing. This includes reading, debugging, and optimizing real code with Gemini. Okay, that's helpful. Available as an AI assistant. Interviewers will evaluate AI fluency, including prompt engineering, output validation, and debugging skills. I tell you, that just reminds me. I was using Claude a few weeks. I got a little toast notification saying something about AI fluency. So it was going to check through like the last 30 days of my chat to check for any gaps. It was testing me on my AI fluency. And it said to me that I do not question its reasoning enough. Which then prompted me and went, I question the reasoning all the time. I explicitly say, show me your answer. Show me your working out. Where are your resources? Actually, you are incorrect from blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, well, that's not enough. Okay. I would love to know who created that rubric. Because I'm sure there's some gaps in that rubric of what Anthropic anyway considers to be AI fluency. So I'll be interested to know how Gemini considers, or Google, what could they consider AI fluency. It's curious. So the internal document describes the format as human-led, AI-assisted. Okay. Then there is a Googliness and leadership round. The long-running Googliness and leadership interview round, which has traditionally centered on behavioural questions and cultural fit, will now include a technical design conversation based on a candidate's prior engineering work. We didn't have a technical design conversation before? Oh, okay. But I guess if they're just looking at the code and expecting you to deliver a finished solution of some sort, they could have just inferred themselves what the technical design was. Okay. The round will go beyond focusing on culture and soft skills to probe how candidates think through real engineering decisions. I think that's fair. I think that is actually a fair stage of the interview process. But I'm not going to continue reading this because... So for Google, during their interview process, they are compensating for financial costs by allowing you to use Gemini. I say that because it's not clear from here if you have to use your own Gemini account or they are going to compensate that. It's not clear to me yet. Because there's definitely this financial barrier is getting more and more obvious. No, okay, so that's Google. That's how they're changing their process.